Last week, during the opening round of the Pro Rough Stock 2015 Jacksonville Open, Kansas sensation Jared Keelan wowed the Florida crowd with the fourth 90-point ride of his career. He commanded Silver Spurs' snuff queen to 91 points and the #1 spot in bareback riding. In bull riding, the crazy little Cajun Trent Cormier from the bayous of Louisiana rocketed to the top of the leaderboard after a 90-point ride on 5 Stars Skyfall. And in bronc riding, Mississippi's Cole Bilbro had the hottest spurs in Florida as he tamed Only Hope for 87 points and a ticket into his first ever Wrangler Final Four showdown round. Tonight, we crown the first 3 champions of the 2015 Real Rodeo Tour. It's high noon on the streets of Jacksonville, Florida, as the Wrangler Final Four showdown round is about to begin.
Welcome to the PRS Jacksonville. Woo!
Welcome once again to the beautiful Jacksonville Equestrian Center here in Jacksonville, Florida for the Wrangler Final Four showdown round of the 2015 Jacksonville Open. Hello everyone, I'm Justin McKee along with Kelly Timberman and Cord McCoy, and Kayla Zadell will be along later from behind the chutes. Kelly Timberman, the Final Four round is here, and this is where the magic happens.
Yes, it is. We have our top 4 riders from last week in each of our 3 events, matched up with our stock contractors, elite horses and bulls. Everyone who rides tonight has a chance to win. It's a pure riding contest and not a drawing contest.
And Cord, there's a pretty good payday out there as well. Little added incentive this week.
Absolutely, Justin. $30,000 will be divided up in a short weekend. A lot of money's going out right here.
And as we look at our Final Four bareback matchups tonight, I'd like to bring in Kayla Zadell, who's got a word about our leader.
Jared Keelan has drawn Red River for the Final Four. Now this horse lawn darted Cimarron, Gerke, and Gonzalez, but Jared has drawn some tough horses before, so there's no doubt that he'll ride him tonight.
There's few guys tougher than Jared Keelan, and he'll need it. Speaking of Cimarron, he's drawn Blackjack, who was here in the Saddle Bronc last year in Jacksonville, and JJ won the title in Saddle Bronc riding on him. Blade Elliott has Patty. He's the dark horse to win it all. I talked to Aaron Hudson of Klein Brothers earlier tonight, and he said if he had a pick of a hot horse, right now, Patty would be the one.
Well, our shoot boss is Daryl Barron. He says we're loaded. The riggers are pulled, and we're ready to go. Glad to have you with us here on RFD TV tonight as we begin our first Wrangler Final Four showdown round of the season. And our first man is Cimarron Gerke of Colorado, the racehorse trainer, 4th in the world last year. He's got that blackjack that J.J. Elsier just loves.
Oh, I told him before we did that you got to put a halter on that horse. He's so used to being in the saddle bronc riding that if you put a halter on him, he likes that and he stays closer. It's familiar. He didn't have a halter on, so he almost felt lost right there.
Or naked.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like not putting your pants on going to school.
Yeah, a little reserve right there. Why did he not do it? You got any idea?
Forgot? Yeah, I think he just forgot. He probably got to hustling and you know, Cimarron knows this horse. I mean, we've all seen this horse go. J.J. Elsier won this rodeo last year in the bronc riding. We had him in the bareback riding at Gonzalez 2 years ago. Josie Young was, 86.5 points on him. He's a horse that's familiar enough to know that Cimarron should have put a halter on. The horse was still good, and it was a decent ride, but not near what that horse usually is.
Decent score, 84.5. As we go now to David Peoples. Here's the guy that is 21 years old, the little brother of Stephen Peoples out of Redmond, Oregon. Poison Ivy from Silver Spurs is the horse.
I really like this kid's riding style. He rides just like his brother. The only problem, he's getting a little bit into his hand because he's trying to expose too much. He's not getting enough drag with those feet. And you can see how, about the 3rd jump, see how he really starts to spurn, and he's not getting a lot of drag, and that horse just took it away from him and started trying to jerk him over that right side of that shoulder.
Looks like his toes were turned in a little bit, and he's not getting full contact with those spurs.
When you get yanked on, everything turns in. It hurts.
Inside out sometimes. 78 points for David Peebles, and he's giving that gum a workout. Now to Blade Elliott out of Alabama. Here's the man who was second in the long go last week, This is the horse that you said potentially might be the best horse.
Yeah, this is a great little horse. I got on her one time in Arcadia, Florida, and I slid up to nod my head, and there was about 4 foot in front of me. She is little but mighty, I promise you.
Oh, you got to love that, Kelly. That horse is pretty forgiving. You know, he missed the front end, a couple right out of there, and the horse didn't have any power to run him off. He just kind of kept on rolling.
Well, I think she surprised him right out of there, too, because he had a pretty decent start, and then when she started bucking, those feet started going down into the safety zone going, man. But that horse, everything that you want to have.
Everything you thought we would have in her 86 points. He'll take the lead with 172.5. Alabama is on top points. Now let's go to Jared Keelan. He can't mess around the buck and shoot, you said, on this bucking horse, Red River.
No, this is a very cantankerous horse in the shoot. And see what happened right there? I don't know what he's got in with people, but he's done that 2 or 3 times to these guys over the last couple years. And that right there can be a career injury. See the neck rope guy let him go a little bit early? That horse did that on purpose. He was waiting for that gate to open up, heard that latch, and he was aiming to just smash him right there. They need to work with that horse a little bit more in the buck and shoot to get him to where, you know, he's not doing that, because out of the chute, look at him buck. Like, he's a nice horse, but that right there just, whew, that don't cut it.
Judges say re-ride. I don't know if he'll be able to take that re-ride. Jared Keelan needed an 82 for the win to move ahead of Blade Elliott. We're getting word now that he is not going to be able to take the re-ride, and that means Blade Elliott with 172.5 is going to win Jacksonville, the first stop of the season, and Blade Elliott is going to get his 2nd career win. Now he's with Kayla.
I've been on that horse a lot more than I have Cher, actually, and always had good results. And she's won the battle against me a few times too, but she's a good horse. Definitely the one I'd want to get on. I love the PRS. They're great events, just rough stock, and I've only been in rodeo in about 5 or 6 years. I feel like I'm more mentally mature now than I've ever been, and just ready to go.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I would thank my sponsors, but I don't have any, so I'm taking applications for that at the moment. So,
well, if he keeps riding like that, sponsors are going to be knocking his door down. Hey, bull riding is up next. Can the crazy little Cajun do it again with another 90-point ride? We'll know more after this. Back now at the Jacksonville Equestrian Center, it is time for bull riding. And Cord McCoy, let's look at the Wrangler Final 4 round matchups.
As you can see, our defending champion, McKinnon Wimberly, didn't make the Final 4 round this year in Florida, but the bull he rode to win last year did make it in. That bull is Boo Hoo of Silver Spurs. Last year, McKinnon was 90 points on that bull. Tonight, John Jacobs has him. But if there's one guy, to me, is the toughest of the tough, that would be Tag Elliott, who's matched against Riverbend. That bull should be 2 jumps, fake to the left and spin to the right, and right is into Tag's hand. If he can get out clean and survive the turnback, he's got a great shot for the win.
So let's get started with Toby Stover of Mill Hall, Pennsylvania. Silver Spurs has a bull, No Say I. Here's a man who brings an 84 in here from the long round.
Well, in bull riding, you always think a hot streak, and all 4 of these guys got the good bull road last week, and he got a bucker in there. No say I. It's no score, I say I, it looks like.
I mean, he wasn't fooling around now. He brought his A game.
He did. That bull kind of had a little hop and skip, threw a little bit of curveball and the timing right out of there, but he kind of had the power to back it up. Watch that bull go away from me. I love the new slow-mo.
Yeah, I do too.
He's only got 1 blinker, see there?
Yeah.
He said a clown got the other horn. That's what I heard last week.
He's been blinking ever since. All right, so we'll go to John Jacobs of Timberlake, South Dakota. Here's a man who won round 1 of the finals with a 90, 2nd in the average, 3rd in the world. And John Jacobs is on Boo Hoo, the one Wimberly won here last year with a 90 on. Uh-oh.
Watch out. Boo-hoo. There's no crying in bull riding. You know, John Jacobs, his riding style, we talked about it last week. Hey, don't get the best hold with his spurs. When he got too far over in there, nothing stopped him from hitting those horns.
Yeah.
Man.
Bad way to get off. You don't want to get off between the goalpost.
Well, that's the thing about it. He's pretty square because he hit right in between the horns, but you got to stay setting up.
How bad does that hurt?
Those are really hard. You would think that those horns would be softer, but
yeah, they're not made of rubber.
Yeah, they'll leave bruises on your shins when you hit like that. But I think your shins is the least of your worries at that particular time.
He hit like a gunny sack full of potatoes right there. All right, so we're looking for our first qualified ride. Will it be Tag Elliott to put 2 rides together? He brings in an 88. And here is the man from Thatcher, Utah on Riverbend.
Well, we talked about this bull at the opening. If he can match up with him, and he knows the routine of this bull too. He knows what he's got to do.
One of my favorite bull riders has got a seat. Tag Elliott to Thatcher, Utah. Could go all the way. He rides 2. Tag Elliott, new to the tour. He's been in the national finals, the college champion. Why is he one of my favorites? Because he survived one of the most violent head-on collisions in rodeo history. Completely crushed the right side of his face back in 2007. Broke every bone on the right side of his face, severed an artery, and they didn't even think he'd make it to the hospital, let alone live. And now he's riding bulls again.
You gotta cheer for this guy, and that's why they talk the toughest sport. It's not cowboys because you get bucked off. It's cowboys because you like tag and get back on.
Get back on.
That's
it.
Right.
Here's another
and
great
win.
And
that's right.
He is first right now.
He's winning. Trent Cormier is the man who won the long round on last week's show. Houma, Louisiana. This is the man who's drawn Sticky Sanchez from Silver Rodeo. He needs an 89 to win.
Well, he's got the bull he can be that many points on, but you gotta make the whistle.
Oh, no.
Man, made it look so easy last week and kind of got strung out here. We got to watch it. The bull actually almost had the exact same trip as the bull last weekend, but didn't help him up on that rope this week. Oh,
tough
no
break.
Score.
Trent Cormier trying to win his first event. He's going to have to settle for second, and that means Tag Elliott is going to win his first event. He's the only man to ride both of his bulls here in Jacksonville. 178.5. Tag Elliott, the comeback story. The former wrestling star at Bear River High School never considered quitting. He's with Kayla.
It was awesome. I didn't know that they gave all this stuff. I was just happy to stay on 2 bulls in a row. It's been a little while since that happened, so I know they're not going to end up like this every time. But yeah, it was good. It seemed like it was put together. The fans are good. The sponsors seem like they're awesome. I was pretty excited to be here. I'd like to come do as many as I can.
Well, we are certainly looking forward to seeing more of Tag Elliott. Right now, there's first-round leader Cole Bilbro in the saddle bronc riding in his first Final Four Wrangler Showdown. He's getting ready to ride as saddle bronc riding is next. Welcome back to Jacksonville. We are getting loaded for saddle bronc competition with the Final Four riders. Already we've seen Blade Elliott win his PRS title in Bareback. Tag Elliott win his first in bull riding. One guy who's hoping to match them is not an Elliott. It's South Dakota's Cole Elsher, first cousin to reigning world champion J.J. Elsher. And Kayla Zadell, I understand. Cole is not only getting ready to ride tonight, but he's preparing for another kind of event.
Cole Elsher is taking on the role of Casey Tibbs in an upcoming documentary. Now, I talked to him earlier tonight, and he's been reading books and watching old films of the historic saddle bronc rider, and he's even ordered purple shafts to get into the essence of the role. Now, the film is going to debut at this year's NFR, and so we're going to see if Cole Elsher can ride like Casey Tibbs tonight.
Well, that's a lot to live up to. Casey was a game changer in rough stock sports, but he's wearing the purple. Kelly, let's take a look at the matchups in bronc riding.
You know, we look at the best horses on the list. The rankest horse in this draw is called Best Hope with Silver Spurs, and that's what Cole Bilbro was talking about last week. He's got the best horse in the draw if he can get him rode. I was talking to Aaron Hudson earlier. He's picking up, and he said the sleeper in this round is a horse that they raised called Little Angel that Cole has. I haven't really seen this horse in the bronc riding. I've seen her in the bareback riding be spectacular, but they say that she's come around, and the bronc riding might be the one to have.
So first up is Cole Elsher. He is wearing purple, and he is on that sleeper you called this horse, Little Angel from Silver Spurs.
You know, we talked about horses that really get up underneath themselves. You know, right out of there, he kind of had a good start, but that horse was beating him out across her. She was long and wanting to get away, but a lot of times that's because the cowboy's not in contact of above the point of that shoulder as she's bucking down across her. You see how he's never really getting that spur set in her neck. The horse was still good, even though she was long and down the pin, and he's probably about even with her matched up.
And the right leg was better than the left leg. Left leg missed 2 full strokes right there. 85.5. He'll total 170 on 2. Now to Eric Wolford of Belfouche, South Dakota. He's drawn Frog from Silver Spurs Rodeo Company. He was 85 in the long round.
Eric's got to be a fan favorite. I mean, he curls his mustache up just like an old cowboy would. He's always here in Belfouche checking on cows or doing something cowboy, and rides Broncs world class just like all the guys going. You know, drew a really good horse. You could see right there at about the third jump, that horse wanted to lift him up over the front of those swells, and he got behind a little bit with those feet. You watch it here in slow-mo right about here. He sits up, gets behind, but then he just lifts on that rigging, drives back underneath those swells, misses a lick right there, and makes a good ride. They're docking for it, but still finished a very good ride.
Probably cost him from taking the lead. He is now 169 on 2, 1 point behind Cole Elsher, who leads right now, as his cousin J.J. Elsher and reigning world champion out of Hereford, South Dakota, will go next on Klein Brothers Double Down. Not a great finals last year, but it was still enough great regular season to win the world championship.
You know, that horse right there is phony-headed. He's not wanting to stay consistent. JJ,
kind of a snake
he's going to smile,
right
but he is not happy with that horse.
Watch this horse kind of look back at him right start. That whatever you mark your rein ain't right, and then he doesn't have 2 jumps right in a row the whole 8 seconds. You talk about test your skills.
You know, that horse just acts like he's never had a bronc rider lift on the rein and actually ride correctly, and sometimes that happens. Maybe he's bucked everybody off right out of the chute.
He has now. JJ did it.
79 points. He'll move into third is all with 164.5. Now to Cole Bilbro, the man who had that big 87 in the long round, trying to win his first contest. He's out of Mississippi. He's on Best Hope, and you said this could be the rankest horse.
Yeah, this horse is definitely the test of the pin. He's big, he's strong, he bucks hard. You know, nothing really tricky about him. He just bucks.
Whoa, and bucks off Cole Bilbro.
What a good-looking horse. I mean, when you draw one that good, yeah, he's going to test your sand. You got to lift on your rein, keep your chin tucked, and go at him. And he was a little bit hesitant. If he had really been lifting and charging and staying ahead of him, he had a good chance to ride that horse. But right there, I mean, the horse just took it away from him, you know, right here at this jump for sure. But you could see it from the start to the finish where that horse just kept loosening him up, kept loosening him up.
I got a pretty good guess what your Bismarck Ranch bucking horse of the event is. I do.
My goodness, what an animal. No score for Bilbro here in the championship round. Cole Elsher is going to take the win at the first event of 2015. 170 on 2. Wolford finishes number 2. Last year's champion is at number 3. And Cole Elsher, a.k.a. Casey Tibbs, is with Kayla.
The horses are very consistent, like more than you would think, and so it's really nice to be able to know the horse or know somebody that does and kind of use their advice to help you do your best. Curtis told me that that horse took XM2 and that the horse was going to be real strong right out of there and then kind of leap across the pen. So I kind of knew where to sit and how to hold my rein and get along the best I could with him.
Well, the purple worked for Cole Elsher. We also found out he's only the second man to move from number 4 all the way to first in the championship round. And the other guy to do it is cousin J.J. Elsher. So Cole Elsher is keeping time with cousin J.J. in the history books. Don't go away. Plenty more to come tonight from here in Jacksonville as we hand out the Wrangler Final 4 Round Awards and update the season world leaders.
There's a reason it's called rough stock. Just ask these guys. Tough, determined, not afraid of danger. I don't know about you, but I'd like to get to know them. Now you can. MastersOfTheRide.com. Be inspired.
Stay in touch with the PRS through one of the many social media channels. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to us on Instagram. Also, Pro Rough Stock has its channel on YouTube, where you can watch past episodes and more behind-the-scenes videos from the tour. Be sure to join the growing number of fans who have already signed up for the PRS Rough Cuts fan newsletter. Just go to ProRoughStock.com and you'll receive the free newsletter. Get to know our riders and the sport better with our free podcast, Masters of the Ride. You can get there from ProRoughStock.com or go directly to MastersOfTheRide.com. You'll hear interviews from the riders, contractors, and others who made the world of rough stock the fastest growing Western sporting event in the country. Gentlemen, let's check out the 2015 updated world standing. Now keep in mind that the top 12 riders at the end of the season are invited to the 2015 PRS World Finals.
Yeah, we look at the bareback riding world standings right now. Nothing ever comes from anything other than hard work. And look at Blade Elliott leading the world standings right now. And then Cimarron Gerke right behind him, David Peebles. Jared Keelan's always somebody to look forward. Ivan Jane, somebody that I'm really looking forward to coming to our events from now on. He's an up-and-comer and really is riding great.
Well, the bull riding Tag Elliott, he is like butter. He's on a roll. The only bull rider that hadn't been bucked off all year so far, number 1, but Trent Cormier, after that amazing first-round ride last week, is number 2, John Jacobs. He was in and out of number 1 spot last year, at back in number 3. Toby Stover rounding out number 4.
And here in saddle bronc riding, we got the Casey Tibbs lookalike Cole Elsher leading the world standings right above Eric Wolford. One of my favorites to watch, J.J. Elsher right behind him in 3rd. And then a newcomer, Cole Bilbo. So hopefully, we got a race ahead of us. We'll see if J.J. can capitalize like he did last year.
Time now to award the Kershaw Cutting Edge Performance Highlight of the Night. Cord, who do you have?
Oh, Tag, you're it. Tag Elliott, 90.5 points in the Wrangler Final 4 round. Tag looked like he could have rode this bull another 8 seconds if he had wanted to. I mean, just cutting-edge performance, almost just plumb landed on his feet as well.
He stuck to him like a fruit fly on a banana. There's nothing like the best ride, and there's nothing like a Kershaw. Now let's hand out the top bucking honors with the Bismarck Ranch Big Buck of the Night. This award goes to the top performing animal. And Kelly, who do you have?
My Bismarck Big Buck of the Night's got to go to Best Hope here in the saddle bronc riding. The PRS loves rank horses, but so do our fans. And you know what? Every once in a while, they're the best athlete, and they win too.
Oh, man. Best Hope showing off some detachability here in Jacksonville. The Bismarck Big Buck of the Night is sponsored by our good friend Neil Wanless and the crew at Bismarck Ranch, where they promote sustainable agriculture. Bismarck Ranch, ranching the way nature intended. Next week, we return to the quarter horse capital of the world, Lexington, Kentucky, and the beautiful All-Tech Arena at Kentucky Horse Park for the 2015 Lexington Shootout. For Cord McCoy, Kelly Timberman, and Kayla Zadell, thank you for inviting us into your homes tonight. I'm Justin McKee. See you next week.